and soul of the game is at the Boxing Voice. Ain't no other site in the game could see the Boxing Voice.
But I do want to ask one or two questions on Andre Ward. I've spoke to you when he was still in litigation issues and Rock Nation wasn't on the table as far as we knew. And you always wanted the Gennady Golovkin and Ward fight to marinate for about 2 years. Ward still hasn't gotten in the ring, and he's going to do that. But now, with as much as the fans and HBO themselves are pushing that sort of a matchup, do you think it happens faster than your original timeline?
I don't see where HBO is pushing that matchup at all. I don't hear Andre's name only when it comes to poor economics. I hear Cotto, I hear Canelo, I hear those names, but I don't hear Andre's name coming up. So I don't think he's on their radar at all when it comes to a Golovkin fight. You know, yeah, he would love to fight him. He stated that openly, but when the shoe is on the other foot, you know, at this point they feel like he doesn't bring enough to the table, which is hard to understand. His minimum dwarfs what Golovkin ever made, so I don't know what they're talking about there. If it's about economics, you wouldn't fight Willie Monroe, and that's no knock on him because I believe he's going to be a great fighter one day. He's got some great attributes and great ability. But, you know, I can't focus on what somebody else's plan is or what they're thinking about because I would, again, do myself a disservice as well as anybody I work with a disservice. So we're going to stay in the weight class. That's where he belongs right now. And we'll see how it turns out at some point.
Now, him doing this 172-pound catch weight, it kind of opens the doors for statements like he should fight Kovalev. He's only 3 pounds away. Is this just a thing where Andre Ward was out of the ring for a year and he needs some time to get back down to his weight? Or, I mean, you explain it. Why 172 if he's 168? Is it the year layoff?
That's my call to have 172. You know, one thing about boxing, as I told him when he was a kid, I'll never go with the flow because somebody else says something. He's been with me since he's been 9. I haven't failed him yet. And when we come back, you know, we're going to go 72 before we go 68. Simple as that. He wasn't far off the 72 weight. He stayed in condition, and it was great for him. He took advantage of the time, and I think it'll be quite apparent when he comes back that he took advantage of the time. He didn't sit around and mope and grope. He took advantage of the time. So why make 68 at that point when it's not really necessary, particularly if the other guy already had 2 title fights. And to be real about it, he was the only guy that took the fight. He wasn't the first choice. We went after person after person after person. And just like the champions that don't want to fight him, you can't expect guys who aren't champions to want to fight him, but thank goodness for Paul Smith, he took the fight.
Now, would you be willing to say any of those other options that decided not to take the fight? Put a little pressure on those guys. Find out why they're afraid to get in the ring with what's considered the #2 fighter in the world, right? I mean, Andre Ward is, at one time, you know, you could only take him out of the list for inactivity, right? Other than that, he was the #2 fighter in the world behind Floyd Mayweather not too long ago.
Well, I mean, you know what? You don't have any control over that. You know, his peers know. Those people in his weight class know. It's not what somebody suggests or how they want to do it because, you know, I respect the pound-for-pound list and I respect those who are on it. But at the same time, it doesn't define the fighter, you see. So it's an appointed position, justifiably earned or justifiably appointed. It really doesn't matter. But he knows who he is, so that didn't faze him at all because, you know, it didn't change the landscape of things. You see, when it comes to fighting Andre Ward, there's going to be an excuse before there's a signature.